Perfect. All right, let's run it up. Let's go ahead and clear. Yeah, we're live already. What's going on, everybody? Let me see. Make sure audio levels are good. And then let me make sure the people can hear you. Go ahead and talk for me, bro.
Testing, testing.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and
Sounds
change
good.
these audio levels over here.
What's up,
But yeah, we're pretty
Hexico?
much live, Rooney. Talk real quick.
Testing,
Yeah,
testing.
we can hear you loud and clear. That's perfect. What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing great. Hey, Hexkizo, what's going on, my man?
That's my guy,
Okay.
dude.
Let me know if how the stream is looking, bro. If you can go ahead and give me some error. YouTube's not receiving enough video. Maintain smooth streaming. Yeah, for some reason it's telling me that this thing is Oh, I know why. Because I'm sharing my screen here too, bruh. Duh. This thing's taking up so much GPU.
I saw you
Let
were
me
doing
turn
some
off the
upgrades
camera.
on your
Better.
your Mac, dude.
CPU. But yeah, that should have brought the CPU down. All right, perfect. So everything should be running smoothly, bro. Can you hear me, man?
I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me?
Let me make sure. Make sure I have you over here.
What's that random thing in the screen
Say it again.
right below you? That random thing on the screen right below you
That random thing on the
on the
screen.
live stream?
Oh yeah, that's the. That's this. I got you. Hold on. Bro, we got everything going on right now. That's great. Oh man, we're still new to this stuff, bro. That's what it is.
Especially
Mom,
me,
I'm
dude.
live right now. Thank you. I'm live, mom. Thank you. Yes, it was. I appreciate it. Let me see. Yeah, this is mine as well. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be down in a second. Thank you. Damn, man. Yo, everything is going on right now at the beginning of this live. What's going on, everybody? And I got the dog here. Oh my goodness. Dude, this is
Hell
crazy.
yeah.
What's up, everybody? Well, I mean, might as well. You're gonna meet the whole crew. You just met the OG. You're gonna meet Blanqui. This is the dog Blanquita. She's a crypto puppy. And yeah, man, we're gonna have a good night tonight. Hex, you can introduce yourself. We're here talking
I
about
am
a
the
little Hex
Hexican.
hangout.
I am the Hexican, creator of the 5555 Sacred Class NFTs. Uh, yeah, that's me. Hey man, you gonna make Blanquita into a meme token?
Maybe Blanquita token. Blanquita Inu. I feel like that would have gone
Yeah,
viral.
yeah.
I definitely would have gone
Made me
viral,
laugh.
man. Oh man. Let me see. Okay,
You
so
good to
bro, I
go?
actually have some talking points for you, bro, because I've been meaning to talk to you all day. Um, and I actually had a
I
stream
know,
this
right?
morning talking about the whole Ukraine stuff and the market, kind of pretty much bouncing. But crazy enough, we didn't really see much more drops after like noon, after around like closing time, closing market closures in Europe, and everything started to kind of like just settle and then bounce back up. So if you saw
I saw that.
Luna pushed like to $60. We saw a bunch of coins start pushing up. Well, Hex dropped to around 12 cents. It went back to almost around almost the 14-cent range. So we went back to like 13.8 somewhere around there. We'll talk a little bit about the charts. We'll talk, we'll see some charts in the next couple minutes, but
Yeah, I had some
it's pretty cool
questions
to
for
see.
you on the charts.
Talk to me, bro. What's up?
No, I mean we'll get to it when we get to it,
All
but
right,
I had
say
some
less.
questions on the hex chart.
Say less. Say less. All right, let me go and see in. Yeah, man. If you guys have any questions, make sure to go ahead and type them in the chat because we will be discussing them. We want to go over a lot of things. There's a lot to talk about, honestly, man. I mean, so many things have been going on today over the past couple
Every
weeks.
day in crypto is like
Every day,
every day in
honestly,
crypto is like a week
it's
in like
feeling
real
like
life.
that. Let me just make sure I get this information on Twitter, man, because I can't go live and not tell my Twitter peeps. You feel me?
Oh yeah.
Let me go ahead and
I need to do that too, actually.
You feel me? So guys, go ahead and share the stream on Twitter with us if you have an opportunity to
My
do so.
marketing is not very good.
The what?
My marketing is not
It's
very
all
good
good,
today.
bro. You'll get there. Everybody will. It's just consistency. I am live with the Hexagon. This is gonna be a long stream, man. I am live with the Hexagon for Hex Hangout. Hashtag Hex. Always hashtag Hex.
The Hex happy hour.
Hex happy hour, right? Who said that? I forgot who. Let me see. All right, cool. All right, so we're 10 minutes in. We got to get the stream going because we're 10 minutes in. Not much has gone on. But then again, 10 minutes we're like doing some of the waiting screen. So it doesn't really count, like 4 minutes in. But yeah. Guys, so first and foremost, we're going to talk a little bit about the markets like we said. But first, I do want to ask the Hexagon a little bit about his opinion on the Richard Hart and Peter Schiff live stream. I don't know if he was able to see it. When I saw it, I mean, I gave my opinion on it today. I don't want to kind of go deeper into it, but I will share my opinion. But I do want to ask the Hexagon, bro, what do you think about the debate, bro? What were your thoughts? What were your biggest takeaways from it? I think that's the best question, right? What were your biggest learning opportunities there?
I mean, I've heard Richard say a lot of the same things he had already said in there, but I think it was more like just
from Peter. Did you learn anything from Peter?
Nah, man. I mean,
you didn't learn anything from Peter, so no respect to Peter. Is that what you're saying? No respect. He brought no valid points.
But yeah, he was just kind of yelling, man, and he was kind of talking over Richard the whole time. But I still want to rewatch it on Richard's channel because the audio is going to be a little more clear on there.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was just funny, like in general, just like when Peter was talking in the beginning, and then Richard's like face expressions were hilarious. Like he was he was just cracking up.
Yeah, at the very beginning. I mean, you're talking. You have two men sitting across from each other. That one said he was gonna bitch slap him. The other one was like talking shit on one of his proudest creations ever created. I mean, and of course for Richard Hart, right? Like his significant attachment to Hex, right? Pretty much trying his baby. I mean, I thought it was going to get pretty aggressive, but to be honest, bro, I'm going to be real. It was actually very calm. It was very easygoing. There were moments where it did get a little heated, but I think it was good to see the communion between the two of them. I was actually talking about that today. You know, the communion between the two of them, that they did have some valid talking points. And you saw that at the end of the day, no matter what, Richard Hart was there for peace. You feel me? He didn't really want to create or like stir a big issue. Everybody was able to talk a little bit. I think everybody wanted to talk more. I don't know why they didn't keep it going for longer.
Yeah, man.
But
the host was kind of.
Yeah, man. I was like, bro, you should let these guys just free, like, just run. You know, like these guys want to talk. Let them talk. You feel me? They're multi-billionaires. Well, one's a multi-billionaire. The other one's I'm sure he's a millionaire. Whatever. Peter Schiff, he's a respectable gentleman. So I mean, he has he's here. You feel me? He's not gonna go on. You already have him. Might as well get him for as long as you can. I would have been begging them to stay.
Yeah.
But whatever.
They wanted to. They wanted to keep talking.
Yeah, they did. They definitely did. And I think I don't know why they left it off on that.
Yeah, the host was kind of like, we don't have enough time. Like, what you talking about, bro? What do you mean you don't have enough time? Like, what are you gonna do after this? Like they were just getting into it. It was just getting interesting, and I think like them having us sign up and give them our email and all that was kind of useless.
Yeah, because it was on stream. Yeah, we got a lot of
yeah.
I mean, I feel you.
It was kind of lame, like in that sense. But like,
but Richard's stream was fire though. If you look at his stream, bro, the quality was impeccable. I almost started rewatching the whole thing again because I was like, damn, like this is the production quality that it should have been. I mean, shout out to the guys because they did make it happen at the end of the day. If it wasn't for them, it wouldn't have happened. But it was cool. I think at the end of the day, the experience was cool. I do think they need to have another conversation, something less monitored. I think them being able to sit down now that they know each other. I'm sure they have each other's contacts and they're communicating. I'm sure they're gonna have a round two and they're gonna make it less kind of like. I mean, the point is no middleman, right? We preach no middleman. We got this guy in the middle sitting in the debate.
I know, right?
So it's kind of ironic. But, I mean, hey, it was cool. I definitely appreciated it. It was a great event. and it was really interesting to watch. I mean, as far as for me,
The
I
thing
did
I did
take.
learn.
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was gonna say that during the conversation, because I wasn't able to get through the whole thing because my dad interrupted me. He wanted me to help him out with something. But
Yeah,
what I did get out of it from Peter was that he really regrets not getting into Bitcoin
you
because
can tell,
during the
right?
conversation, he was
Yeah,
like, "Oh man,
you can
should I
tell.
have gone into Bitcoin?" He was like, "Yeah, I should have." Like, so he definitely has his regrets,
Oh,
man.
for sure, bro.
You
I
could
mean,
tell.
dude, like, come on. I mean, you can he can preach gold as much as he wants, but it definitely hurts him a little that he didn't hold. And then the fact that he knew about it, like you can't you can't also feel sorry for him because the same epiphany that Richard had, Peter probably could have had as well. You feel me? If he was awake enough and understood what was going on around him enough, I think the fact that he's still preaching gold goes to show why he didn't get involved. But if you look at it, right, like Richard Hart, when he saw Bitcoin, he said, "Oh, okay, there's a use case." Like he looked at the illegal activity going on with it, but he looked at it as more than just illegal activity. He dug deeper into the technology and he saw that there was some actual application. But Peter just said, "Oh,
Well,
it's
he's a
just."
businessman. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
he's
you have two guys from different brands. I mean, come on, it's Richard. You feel me? The guy's a genius. It's the creator of Hex. Of course he saw the opportunity. Like it was his what do you call that, his
life
origin
movement.
story, right? Like the origin of Hex. Him coming up and doing all the different businesses getting robbed, the whole story. I mean, if you've heard it before, you know it, right? Like the origin story to what eventually
Yeah,
turned into
yeah, I've
Hex,
definitely
which is
heard it.
really really cool. So yeah, man. And but yeah, no, shout out to Peter, bro. I think it was really awesome that they were able to sit down and do that. So if you guys haven't been able to see it, I would check it out. It's on full HD in Richard Hart's channel, and that could be something you can watch after. If you're here right now, I would stick around because we are going to have some really good conversations here. But if you can, man, I would appreciate every single one of you to go ahead and click the like button real quick. Help the YouTube algorithm share this stuff with as many people as possible. We're going to be sharing some
Yeah,
nuggets all night long. I mean, I'm going to stay here as long as I feel like. If you guys keep bringing the good energy, I'm gonna stay, and we're gonna keep having good vibes and good conversations. And we'll keep it rocking. So let me see. We got the chat
yeah.
going.
What's up, Steak Nakes
Huh? Say it
and
again.
Jez Media?
Yeah, Just
Oh,
Media. We
I'm
got
just
here.
saying what's up to. Yeah, saying what's up to the
Yeah,
comments
man.
over
No, we're
here.
gonna start highlighting some
Uh,
comments. You got
I want to talk about
Just
some
Media.
stuff too, bro. I got some stuff I want to talk about
Talk
too.
to me, bro. What's on your mind?
But going into like this whole, Peter Schiff not being into Bitcoin, missing out, and then missing out. That dude probably missed out on every crypto opportunity possible. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of people in the community right now kind of have that same mindset with like these new projects coming out on Pulse Chain, like
Mm-hmm.
liquid loans. Everybody's kind of going into this mentality. Not everybody, but I almost see like a 50-50 split on this in the community, like specifically in Twitter.
So
Just
like people
people.
feeling who like a project not made by Richard Hart isn't valid, as opposed to another group of people who are open to like seeing new people build on the Pulse Chain network.
Exactly.
I get you, bro.
Yeah,
I
man.
see it.
And I personally don't care like what people invest in, but just that like it's so toxic, when a person is like excited about something and somebody comes in and starts kind of like trying to wreck them and like just be super negative about it. Specifically liquid loans, like there's a lot of
Liquid Loans has gotten a lot of
uh,
love. I mean, I think the God Whale, endorsing it, putting in his I think it was like a $6 million sacrifice. That was
saw
pretty
that.
cool. You feel me? Because it goes to show like there are people who see validity in the projects, and also look, I'm gonna be very honest. Liquid Loans has been building itself and its marketing for a while. I spoke to Jesse, I think last year before the year ended. It was my first stream I think I did on my YouTube channel, and I remember speaking to him and conversing, going back and forth about the project with a couple of the guys who were there as well. And they've been in the trenches. You feel me? They've been actually working, sharing this information, and I believe that they're ready to work and they're ready to actually take this project to the next level and do what they say that they're going to do. At the end of the day, I want to believe in a group of people. And so I would say, hey, you know what? If I'm going to put my money anywhere, and on top of that, right, more importantly, the people behind the project, they're building a project. as significant as what liquid loans is, that has my stamp of approval. Now, will it work? I don't know, and that's why I have no expectations. That's what everybody needs to get. If you don't trust it, then don't invest in it. You feel me? But if you want to take the risk, then there's a smart way of going about it where you can, invest accordingly based on how much money you want to or you have to allocate into investments, and you can go from there, right? Like everybody's a little bit different, but what I would say is this: there are a lot of projects other than liquid loans, and you're 100% right. Like it does take the fact that like you have to have a run and gun team of people who are willing to go out there and promote it and push it. And so there are a lot of other ones that aren't getting as much love that maybe people don't understand. But I think it's really up to the people who are running that to be able to come out and get vocal about it. Really start reaching out to people. Still, stay in touch with people who are a part of the community, because that's who you really got to build trust. The ones who speak on what we know, right? Who speak on the Hex community and what's right for our community. So, yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you, bro. I'm in agreement with you on a couple points, but I still do think that it does take some part of the actual creator themselves to come out. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, when I first found out about liquid loans, I was pretty pumped about it just because of the whole concept behind it. Um, but I guess what I'm getting at is like, if you're in crypto, you shouldn't be worrying about what other people are investing in. You should just be worrying about what your investment is. Like personally, I like liquid loans. I think that we need everything, as many projects as possible on Pulse Chain for it to grow. So like, and they happen to be one of
That's
the
true. We do
legitimate
need
ones. So, like,
projects, and we need more exciting stuff to like get people to stay right on the network. And I'm gonna give you a good example. Like right now, what like we have Hex, and Hex is a beautiful project, but now we have an actual blockchain, and then the blockchain has things like that can create use cases for what we own. So now we're able to actually collateralize our PLS, right, with something like liquid loans, or we're able to do green minting of NFTs with Mintra, right, which is really interesting. But what I see more interesting also is like the fact that if we're I lost my train of thought. Like if we're gonna put money into these projects, right? Like when we're doing so, really feeling confident with what we're doing. Because if we're not, bro, like I'm gonna be honest, like as someone who's an investor, right, and like you're someone who when you put your money into something, you educate yourself. You want to find the best projects and the best chains, and in order for a chain to grow, it needs to have like a strong infrastructure, right? There needs to be a strong belief, and I think with something as powerful as Hex, Pulse Chain, and then something as liquid loans as a lineup, that's a beautiful lineup, bro. That's sick. You get me? And I see that same lineup in something like Terra Luna, where you have UST Luna and you have ANC, and these are some of the most successful blockchains that exist right now. And so for Pulse Chain, which hasn't even launched yet, to kind of have that same alignment in which you're going to be able to like borrow against your coins and do this whole like lending system, we need that as a blockchain. And I think a lot of our users, a lot of our whales would benefit from being able to collateralize against what they own, as opposed to selling and dropping price, which at the end of the day doesn't help anybody. You get me? And so when everybody starts to learn that mentality and really starts to financially elevate their education, they start to elevate their financial education, right? They're going to be better for it. And I think our blockchain is going to grow all the more for it, man. And what I love the most about Hex is that, bro, Hex isn't built on a bunch of bozos, a bunch of paper hands. You feel me? Like we got some real deal people, bro. If you look at Whales Only, if you look at the RG3, you look at the guys from Discord Syndicate, if you look at, Crypto Sparbuck, everybody's a mind, bro. Kareem, everyone. You feel me? Gerardo, look at everybody in the community.
And they're all building, man.
Hell yeah. And everybody's a marker. Everybody understands. And they're learning actively from Richard, who is the greatest at doing it, which is our example, right? And everybody's succeeding because we all have a good We all have a good leader. We all have someone to exemplify. And it's dope, bro. It's really sick. It's really, really sick. He really
said build. He was like, go out and build.
Yeah.
And that's what people are doing. And I just see a lot of like negative energy thrown at them. And I just don't like seeing that, like if you got nothing good to say, just don't say anything at all.
That's but you're referring to people hating on them. But what are they saying though? What's going on? What do you mean by that?
I think a lot of I'm not gonna say any names in particular, but I've just been seeing a lot of the OGs come at like Hedron, come at Liquid Loans, Mintra, without really doing any research, you know. And it's kind of like you could just DM them. You don't have to like put them on blast on Twitter and like call them a scam.
Are you talking about
You
Maddie
know,
when
it's kind
Maddie
of
went live?
I saw that. Yeah, that was a little bit like
Yeah, I'll say their names. I don't give a fuck. I mean, I know them, but I would love to be able to say their names out loud and talk about what happened. I mean, yeah, but
I don't know enough about what happened, but
I
I
saw
know
it. I actually
like
saw
I
it. I was
saw.
there. I saw it.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, and not to gossip about it, you feel me? Because not so much, to kind of re-examine what happened, but I do get what you mean. Like, it was just honest. I'm gonna be very honest. It was Maddie being very vocal about how he feels about some projects, and he just doesn't feel comfortable shilling projects that feel like could hurt his community, and that's pretty much what it is, bro. I mean, at the end of the day, there's no bad blood. I think it was just kind of turned into something more because there were some other people who kind of like insinuated something out of it, but it wasn't really that big of a deal. I think it was just kind of blown out of proportion. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, but it was. But I mean, I do get where Maddie's coming from. I get where everybody was coming from, though. Like, you at least do have to. And here was the argument that kind of led everything. You do have to at least have to provide a platform for people, right, before saying anything at all. If you're gonna say something, at least allow them to defend themselves, which is very true. Like, I wouldn't bash on someone and not have them on my stream and be like, yo, all right, so tell me about your project. What is it? How does it work? Like, even if people are exposed to it, it's still the user's responsibility, like the investor's responsibility, to actually go and put their money in there somewhere. Like, I can't block your eyes from everything. You feel me? Like, you're a human, you're a grown ass human. I can't block your eyes from stuff to not see it. I would much rather, though, like, at least maybe educate you on it if you do see it, and maybe pre-warn you, hey, look, there are some things to look out for, which I think is probably the wiser thing to do. What do you think?
No, definitely. Um, Kind of resetting the whole space. I still don't completely understand Hedron. Um, I was wondering if you did. Maybe you could explain it to everybody, because I'm still like I just started doing my research on it pretty much today. So what I understood is that it's kind of like you can pretty much mint Hedron based off of your stakes, but you have to pay back, or else your stakes will be like I guess auctioned off to the highest bidder. Is that kind of how it
Something
works?
like that, bro. I mean, the thing is, bro, I don't like the idea of being able to access stakes. That's the only thing, because I should be the only one to have control to nuke my stake if I decide to nuke my stake, right? Like, that should be my thing. I don't know how much control Hedron has over the protocol, but I think that would require someone to come in and explain that. So you can get a better idea of what it is that it does. You feel me? And that's the thing. We need Hedron representatives, and that's what Liquid Loans had. And you don't get an endorsement from Godwill if you don't go out there and get in the trenches and talk to people and put your project out there. And even if people talk bad about it, you still keep shilling it. Like, that's what I feel like Hedron needs to do. What a lot of projects would need to do to be able to just get away from maybe some of the way that people are feeling. No, like, to be
Yeah,
honest.
that's true.
Let me see.
That's
Hedron
true.
is the only
That's amazing.
one not doing a sacrifice and just giving Hexicans free coins. All right, cool. That's a pretty
But
cool
you do
point.
have to interact with the smart contract, right? Or does it just read your wallet?
It
That's
would it
kind of
would
what I'm
have to
wondering
definitely interact with your smart contract. I mean, because if
with
they're
your
just gonna
stakes.
airdrop the coins, how are they gonna give you the coins? Would it be if you're a holder of another coin, or if you're a holder of stakes? Like, if you hold T shares, are they gonna airdrop it to T share holders? That would be the smartest thing. Airdrop the
That's
coins to
that's
T
kind
share
of like
holders.
to me that's kind of if that's the case, and we don't. I mean, personally, I'm not sure because, like I said, I'm still researching it. But if it has to interact with my T shares, like that's kind of scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like,
To
that's the
me,
thing.
that's
Nobody wants that, and so I wouldn't want it. I have zero interest in anyone touching my T shares and anyone touching any of my hex. And on top of that, I mean, if I could collateralize my post chain, why would I not just do that instead of even getting involved with my hex T shares? You feel me? Like, what I
oh,
think, what I
we got some answers here in the chat
what's
from
up?
Steak and Apes saying Hedron. Um,
Let me see.
What is it?
So
It's
liquid
a read
loans is a
only dApp.
benefit. So let me read. So let's read these in order first. So we got liquid loans is a benefit. It will only help with Pulse. To be honest, I agree. But I think it'll also help its stablecoin USDL popularize that a little bit more. And of course they have their native token too, loan token, which is also opportunity for them. But I don't really want to kind of get into that now because we are talking about Hedron. Steak and Ape said zero control, and then he goes, Hedron been shilling in Twitter Spaces. It's a read only dApp. Okay. So by read only, it doesn't interfere with anything. It doesn't Okay, so it doesn't interfere with anything. It doesn't interact with your T shares. It
Yeah,
only
see, in
if you
that case,
use the
it's
protocol.
which I'm gonna verify that. Like, I'm obviously gonna do my own research. Um, but if that's the case, that's that's pretty dope.
It says it
Just some
only
free
reads your
Hedron.
stakes and lets you claim Hedron daily. So you it
I like
so
that.
okay, so I mean, like I
I
said,
mean,
we'd
we'll
have,
see, right?
yeah, we can do. I mean, why not just do it on stream, right? Like, I guess people want to learn about it, so people are here. I mean, if you guys want me to check it, like, if you want us to go ahead and look into it with you guys here live, and give you like a real honest opinion, because realistically, I haven't looked into it, and neither has the Hexagon. So, if you guys want us to do that, let's go ahead. Just go ahead and leave some comments in the chat. Let us know, and we'll decide if everybody wants to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll do it. Because if not, I'm not gonna invest too much time into it because realistically,
Yeah, yeah. Could just
yeah,
kind of do that on our own time, type
exactly.
of thing. Yeah. I mean, we'll see. If that's the case for me, I'll probably like that's free money right there. That's like
Yeah, I
an
mean, free
airdrop,
money
pretty much.
works. Free money works. I do
Yep.
like how we were talking about liquid loans. I do like with the whole sacrifice phase how they're doing the delaying the gratification of receiving the initial tokens. That was pretty cool.
I like
I
that
thought
too,
that was
bro. I like
very
that.
I thought that was very intuitive of the sacrifice bonus, like adding another layer of multiplier to the project while still being able to kind of keep people from setting off in those early stages. And really, it's based off of your own decision of holding, not based on them deciding, hey, this is the date you have to stop holding it. I think that just adds more trust for the user who's actually who's sacrificing. Um, I think that's pretty sick.
So pretty much you won't get your tokens until, let's say you do 24, you won't get it until 24 months
You
later,
won't get them
right?
for 24 months, yeah. You won't get them for 24
Dang.
months. All right, cool. So we got some answers here. So it says, pull it up. Yeah, Steak and Ape says, pull it up. Alex says, it's pretty complex. Just free claim on the 26th. I'm not going to use the protocol, though. So just free claim the tokens. That's the thing. I got to figure out the whole free claiming thing, man, because I don't like connecting much to my MetaMask. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
man.
I gotta look.
Same.
I gotta read it, bro. I'm really going based off of assumption, and we really don't have any information. And like, it doesn't seem like many people want to get into it. So, I'm not gonna.
I'm gonna do the haircut strategy where you let the first guy go get a haircut before you go. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
To test the barber type of thing. That's my strategy with Hedron at the moment, just to see what happens. Just to play it safe.
All right, for sure. Okay, I respect it. I like it. That's
What's your
cool.
strategy though, dude? I'm curious. I was gonna ask you earlier, but we weren't on stream yet,
For
and you
what?
were
For
kind of
liquid
like,
loans?
yeah, you were like, don't let's not talk about that yet. But
Oh
I'm
yeah.
curious, man. I want.
So yeah. So for those of you information like this, guys, like strategies and stuff like that, I'm gonna be releasing like a private group that I'm gonna be sharing this information with. But I'm gonna definitely be giving it away to you guys right now, just as like a freebie. If you guys want more details, make sure you join our Discord, Cashflow Amigos. Even if you're not interested, just check out the community, see what you guys think, give us some feedback, what you guys would like to see. But as far as my strategy goes, bro, I would say that the smartest thing for me to do, right, as a personal decision here, right? This isn't any financial advice in any way, but for me to go about this a smart way would be, okay, I'm looking at liquid loans as an opportunity, but it's not a primary opportunity. It's like a secondary opportunity, right? It's something that I maybe um I'm not going to put all my eggs into, but I definitely am considering investing in. And so I think it could work. I think it has promise, and I'm going to take that leap. Now, in order to be able to not just benefit from, for example, if this were to be a long-term project, but also to be able to benefit from what I personally prioritize as an investor, which is the staking rewards that are produced. I live off of my interest. Excuse me. So for those of you who don't know, I come from a trading background. And I traded for like 4 years. I did cryptocurrency, like not heavy as much as I do it now, but I used to do trading a lot, and that was my main income. I did network marketing and all that other stuff, but that was really one of my main sources. But I eventually, with Richard's help, switched over to just solely investing into where I built a strategy the same way I built a strategy with trading, but in this case, it was built towards building my life, and earning my income through the interest that my principal was producing. And so I pretty much live on my interest, which is the idea. And so to keep that same theme going with this investment, which is very possible, I said, okay, I'm going to put 60% to receive it with no delay, and then of my sacrifice, right? And then the other 40%, I delayed it respectively between 6 and 24 months in case this project does become a very long-term move and, it does succeed. So I would like to benefit from the multiplier that I would receive from there. And so at the same time, while receiving that 60% in the beginning with no delay, I can stake those tokens, those liquid loans tokens, and get USDL and PLS at the same time from the very first day because I have those tokens liquid, and then still be able to benefit from the long term, right? Which is less likely. So I invest less of my percentage because what if the project flops? I lose. There's no benefit to that 40%. But if the project succeeds, as we hope, the benefit of having the 60 means I get more interest now because I have more liquid tokens I can stake, and the 40 is just like a vested gain from, hey, the project actually worked. Let's go ahead and get some return from that. So that was my way of justifying it. I think that's the smart way of kind of going about it. But it's still not one of my biggest bags. Definitely not. And do I think it holds promise? For sure. But I am more of a user than so much an investor in it. And I can say this, there's a lot of opportunity right now for someone who wants to put a lot of good money into it and become a whale, because it's not even close to a PulseX sacrifice phase. It's not even close to a Pulse Chain sacrifice phase. If right now you want to go, degen balls to the wall investor, stake. I'm sorry, I keep saying stake. Sacrifice into that liquid loans project, because you can easily become a whale, and be very happy with your return if the project plays out.
Yeah, and also, that 2-year waiting period is kind of nice because that gives you enough time to like legit delay the gratification for it, because 2 years is pretty much a good time frame for a project to.
Yeah, at that point you're really hoping for the success of the project and for more people to be using the liquid loans project, right, which I guess would push the value of it up, or the liquid loans token. To it, Thank you.
Using it as like you said, that's what you live off of pretty much here.
Right, and so ideally I wouldn't like to even have to stake any PLS, right? Yeah, like ideally I wouldn't like to stake any. If I can, of course I'm going to, but I'm going to stake all that's not probably loaned out, right, if the protocol works. But the idea would be to live off of that interest, but this is just another way for me to earn that. So if I can have this one producing like 5,000 a month, or 5,000 a year, 10,000 a year, 20,000 a year in interest, off of a small investment that I made, right, based on the value of it growing and how much we're getting because of how many coins we have off the initial investment. I think it would be a great return, you feel me? And I think that just provides more opportunity. And if I keep washing it through that cycle, right, of you're getting paid in PLS and in USDL, I don't necessarily have to sell the USDL. I can actually provide the USDL as liquidity or do something else with it. There's a lot of opportunities there. You don't have to necessarily sell it off. I can grab the PLS that I get back. I can loan that out instead and then take a loan against it instead of having to even sell the PLS. So there's so much stuff you can do with that ecosystem, but it's really built off of the benefit of us. Like the game theory behind it is really sick. Will it play out? I don't know. We have to see the use case, right? Man. I have hopes. I think it will too. But I don't want to say something and then someone be swayed by what I say and then they go and sacrifice and then they get burned. So I don't know. I necessarily don't know, and that's why in my balance sheet I put $0. That the value of that investment is now worth $0. I sacrificed X amount, but the value is worth $0 because I already assumed that I lost that money. I'm not going to get it back. But I have no expectations, remember. That's just me. And that's how you want to go into it, to be honest.
We got King Hex over here. He said a lot of degens are going to get wrecked on liquid loans.
King Hex. Man.
Maybe.
A lot of you see, there's two sides to every coin, and that's Yeah, and that's how people were thinking. And I I would say okay. That's my response. All I can say is okay because who knows, man?
Yeah, you
Who
don't
really
know.
knows?
Yeah.
The one thing I can tell you is that Liquidy, the fork that they forked, that what they forked from, it's not really succeeding as a project. It's not doing very well, and it's an Ethereum kind of liquidation system, but it doesn't have all the incentive tokens that this one does have. So it is missing a lot of the stuff, but yeah, it's just
Right.
it's not performing. But I would love to see this work, bro. I really do, because I mean, it works on projects like Terra where you have ANC doing ideally the same thing with like bonded systems. And if at the end of the day this one doesn't work, I'm sure Richard Hart is going to come out with his own. So there's just more opportunity there. I'd much rather though, like I feel like the opportunity cost of not getting involved in this and then missing out is far greater than, you know, just not investing. That's just my opinion.
Right.
You know, like there's too
Yeah.
much opportunity cost.
Personally, I have not sacrificed for liquid loans yet, but I do plan on doing a small sacrifice just because I don't have too much left in the tank here. But um, yeah, man, I'm probably just going to either delay the gratification, but I wouldn't say for 2 years. I think 2 years for me is a little bit too long for something like this. I'll
Yeah,
probably do it for like a
like
year.
that's why I decided personally to reduce the amount of percentage I was going to do for 2 years. So of the 40%, I think maybe like I did like 20, like 40% of the 40%, you know,
Right. Yeah,
to,
that
at
makes
the
sense.
furthest. So yeah,
Yeah.
because like you don't want to put all your eggs in there, which is really it's what you don't want. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and I think like the free pulse faucet is going to be nice for this type of stuff because it'll allow like for myself, let's say I didn't get in on liquid loans and it ends up being something really awesome. I'm just going to go to the free pulse uh, faucet and then start dipping my toes in
Yeah,
all these
exactly. Yeah, you will be able
different
to get a lot of
stuff
access
for
to
free.
some stuff. That's true. That's very true. All right, man. I think it's time for us to go ahead and start doing some chart work. Let me go ahead and start switching up the situation.
Sounds good, man.
Now, ready for this? Boom. That's how it works.
Tank is running dry over here. I can't handle another sacrifice. Steak and apes. Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Me too, bro. Me too. Like I've been waiting a little bit too long now for Pulse Chain to launch,
I feel the
and
same way, bro.
I'm ready, dude. I'm just ready. And I'm not even thinking of, touching anything for at least a year or two in general, but it's like I just want to see my tokens.
Yeah, let's see what they're tweeting about before we get into some charts. Let's look at Richard. See what Richard said. When you're on Uniswap 1-inch matcha ETH hex for market orders, it's smart to have the lowest slippage. Yeah, I think now these are pretty. Yeah, he was going off some girl. This is pretty funny.
Okay, so you know what I don't fucking understand? This is what I don't understand. See this? See this?
My
see
streaming
see
is
that
delayed, so I
this.
can't really see.
This is worth $50. This is worth $5. This is the exact same piece of fucking plastic. This is the same thing. We made up these arbitrary numbers, and then we said we can't
Oh,
print
yeah, I
more,
did see
or
that.
else it'll be worthless. How about just don't let it be worthless? How about just don't tell anybody, or just like don't let it happen? We literally made this up.
So what are we
This
analyzing
is a
today? Or
construct.
what are you
we
analyzing?
made
'Cause
up.
I'm not
Just
a
don't let
chart
it
guy, that's for
inflate.
sure.
Shorty got wrecked.
Just don't.
For sure. Tank is running dry over here. What'd you say? What are we What are we analyzing
I was
today?
saying, yeah, which one's first? I think I'm interested on Bitcoin, man. Like, I want to see what's
Bitcoin?
happening with that.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So I believe we can actually stretch this baby out, get a full screen going, and then I'll just keep it on the left. Yeah. So, on the my Bitcoin chart that I'm focusing on right now is this one, right? This is like my long-term Bitcoin chart. Let me see if like log is on, but so this is a long-term Bitcoin chart, and this Bitcoin chart pretty much is tracking all of the cycles, all the bull runs, all the dips. The blue lines are the lows, the black lines are the highs. and they're all labeled here. And my predicted low for 2022 is somewhere around 10,000. So we hopefully want to see this chart make its way down about 84, 85% to these levels down here. Pretty much like how we've seen historically. Like historically, every time we dip below the black line, and we create a floor below the high. So ideally, that's what I would like to see. Some lines created over here. Yeah, actually, let me see. Hold on. Historically, well, actually, no, I believe, yeah. So check it out. So yeah, high, dip. And actually, well, here's the thing, right? Now that we mention that, you create a low, it creates a high, it creates a low, it creates a high, it creates a low, it creates a high. But it always creates a low within the high of 27, but the prior high and the prior low. You see what I'm trying to say? Have you noticed that?
I mean, like I said, man, I'm not a big chart guy, but
I just noticed that myself. Like I didn't really necessarily notice that.
what do you think is because obviously we had a dip last night, right? Like, and
Well, I'll
then,
tell you this much, right? I mean, in the terms of what we're expecting the chart to go to with an 85% drop, ideally this is where we want to go. Where we are, right? That's why I switched to that chart first, is over here, and then I'm gonna switch to like a daily chart. Where we are is over here, and this black line, guys, represents the 1st of January. So this is the second year of the market cycle, the bearish cycle, which once we step into, we should start to see this market fall. And these are some supply zones that I've created, and some zones that I think are gonna get hit. I do believe that we have some space up here with this imbalance area where we saw the market price fall from 57,000 to 42,000 this day. This big gap right here, we created an imbalance and 2 equal highs where we failed to actually tap into this liquidity. So this imbalance in trading is considered area of interest, and it's very possible that now with this reverse trend line getting hit and us bouncing from these levels, there may be some interest in the Bitcoin that we see right now. So right now we're trading at around 38, and if we continue to follow what we see here, which is this supplies level getting respected, this thing is going to drop, right? If we continue to close. But if we start to break above these levels, this is probably the next target I expect to see hit, this imbalance at around 52. But if we continue to respect the supply zone and break below and keep creating lower lows, because that's really what's happening here, we're still creating lower lows, then I think that we can start making our way towards these levels over here, which is around 30,000. 30,000 is where we have a ton of liquidity sitting in the markets, where the markets are going to want to come and capture that money. And for those of you who don't understand the concept of liquidity, liquidity is simply orders, right? Because you got to remember, in the market, you're looking at orders. All of this is orders. And so what happens is, and we can kind of replay this, right, is when the market falls and the market creates a high, right, the market will continue to play out over the course of days. But essentially what's happening is the market is playing within bounds, right? Bounds that are created by people buying and selling at different prices. And when a market hits a certain price multiple times and fails to go above that price, what you need to think is like psychologically what's happening there. At around this price level, right, we're seeing people psychologically stop buying. And so what occurs is there's a lot of people here who are saying, okay, when price gets here, I'm going to place a sell limit. So they place pending orders. There's people here who are placing orders like buy limits, and so they're placing buy orders. What's happening is now we're creating a pool, right? Literally, there's like a pool of money that now sits up here that the market wants to attack, right, before it can move anywhere else. Why? Because the way institutions move these markets, which now Bitcoin is honestly an institutional instrument, the way that it's moving, we're seeing markets manipulate it like if it was an actual, commodity like oil, or if it was some type of, foreign, currency like USD JPY or GBP JPY. They're trading it like those assets. And so we have a big liquidity zone built up here that we haven't tapped into, right? But the market comes back to these places all the time. And so same idea happens. You create liquidity down here, the market falls, more orders are then tapped into. Why? Because the selling order and the selling pressure is beneath these buy orders, right? So people here see demand, But what happens is remember, while people here see demand, there's a lot of money sitting there. So what do the institutions do? They sell off even harder and they push the price down. Why? Because this is where the money is located. They can push price harder because there's people buying, but just as much as there's people buying, there's people selling. And without buyers, you can't have a seller. And without sellers, you can't have buyers. So you need both cohesively to be able to build liquidity on either side of the setup, and then you'll see a move towards a certain direction. So it's really complex. This is stuff that I learned and I mastered for years, but it has helped me understand where the market is kind of like where the market wants to go to, right? And as you see it play out, so I'll continue to see it. You'll see that my zones, right, and the way that I create my zones, they get respected very heavily, right? And if they don't, well, this one was a demand zone before we said it was a supply zone. So before I turn this one red, I actually said, okay, when market price comes back to this area, I predict price will continue to go up, right? Because the way that we fell through it was almost too easy. And oftentimes when the price comes back to these areas that it fell through very easily, there's still demand at these levels. It's just institutional players are getting involved. And there's a lot of stuff that honestly I wish I could explain, but it's going to take more than one sit down here in this explanation to kind of go over it. So it's really cool and interesting stuff, but like, once again, we hit these zones and the same thing starts to happen, right? Like we come back to these levels and we play off of them. And then that's what I teach in my program, right? Like if you have access to what I call my black diamond membership, which is like a private section in my Discord, we're going to be opening up soon for everybody. You're going to be able to learn how to trade like this, how to pretty much move your technical work like this, so you can predict where the market is attracted to. And these levels, if you look at my content, you see that all these levels that I set them up and I leave them there. I don't touch them, and the market respects them and they come back to them perfectly. So that's really what I do. I just kind of check back at my charts every once in a while and I look at what the overall market is doing. And it's nothing complicated. It's super easy stuff. As you can see, I don't use indicators. I don't use none of that. I just use overall market understanding. And over here, you have it in a little bit more of a complex way with Hex. But with Hex, I've done it pretty well. There's a lot of data here now because there has been a lot of changes, and I understand what's happening, but sometimes people don't. Let's see, we got some questions over here. We got 5% of the portfolio on liquid loans and just HODL. Okay, that's a good strategy. Hey guys, silent in here. Not much. It's all good, but thank you for making some noise. And we got here David. Awesome, cool, David, bro. Welcome, man. But yeah, bro, that's pretty much the outlook on BTC, man. Right now, I think the next move can possibly be a rejection of this level at 40,000. As you see, we have rejected it, and we look at the smaller time frames. We came down, tested it again. We are rejecting that level. Can we continue to do that? Hopefully we can. And then we can see price go down. If not, if demand continues to come back above 40,000, and that's another story.
So it sounds like you're kind of like excited for a bear market.
Yeah, I am looking forward to a bear market because most of my investments that I've already invested in, well, first and foremost, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I sold in April of 2020. So if you look at this, I sold over here, right? And the reason why I sold in April was because we actually had started the bull market early in the year where we were supposed to be ending one of our phases, right? So this whole phase where we were supposed to reach all-time highs. All right, so before I can kind of go over that, I really need to explain this for you guys, okay? For those of you who don't know about the 4-year market cycle that Bitcoin follows, very simply put, so for those of you who want to kind of understand it a little bit more, Bitcoin moves in 4-year cycles. And so what I did was I just created a line, right, for every 4 years, to identify specific movements in the market. So what usually tends to happen is on year 1, the market goes through a very aggressive bull cycle, right? And then years 2, 3, and 4, the market tends to settle off, hit a low. Year 3, it makes that low and retests that low oftentimes twice, and usually creates an accumulation area where you want to buy in year 3. And then year 4, we retest our all-time high from year 1, and then year 1 starts that brand new push towards all-time highs. And you see this happen multiple times. Once again, year 2, right, year 3, and then year 4. But in year 4, right, of 2020, we actually had, if you look a little bit closer, the market before the year ended reached new all-time highs. And here it looks a little bit different. It doesn't look like much, but it is a lot of money because this is $20,000 difference. It's just that we're in log scale, so it doesn't really look like a lot. But this is a lot of difference. Oh, this is a lot of a difference right here. And so before the year ended, we actually had started from a low, right, of 3,000 in 2020 to 19,000 by 2020, by almost the ending in November, more or less. And then we ended the year somewhere around 20 or 30,000. And then the year one, right, which was supposed to be the start of a bull cycle, we cap off at around like 60,000, right? And then we double top. And so when we cap off at around 60,000 and we actually form this move, because we had started this bull run so aggressively so early, I anticipated, I was like, bro, this thing is going to end early. And so ironically enough, during this year, I actually cashed out all my Ethereum. I cashed out all my Bitcoin. I cashed out everything because I felt like it was going to end early. And what turned out to be was the market did fall. We created lows at around 30,000, 50% drop, but then we retested, and then we started to, around the ending of that bullish year, come back down. And now, once again, as you can see, we are back on year two, right? We can come back to the year two model here, and we see that we are due for that 85% drop, which we see in year two. And so that's why we are predicting that move right now. But that's really where this bearish sentiment is coming from, because of the cycle that this follows. And I'm sorry, man, but this cycle has just continued to be respected. And even though I thought that we weren't going to respect it this year, and that this was going to be something a little bit different, it still double topped. And at the end of the first year, we did start to see that market come down and essentially create the beginning of that bear market cycle, which we're seeing now. And so if history tends to repeat itself, I'm sorry, but I can only keep assuming that the market's going to keep doing what it's been doing, right, every year as it's been doing it. And so that's my analysis that we have on Bitcoin, right, like what it's going to do long term. But day to day, that's a whole different story, right? Like what it's doing day to day, well, that's going to require a little bit more technical work. And yeah, you can predict it, but I mean, that's more for traders. And like I said, I really wanted to get away from that and just focus more on investing and, keeping my assets invested towards the long term, because, you hear Richard talk about it all the time. I'm not going to go over it, but, it's true. It's not a healthy lifestyle. I prefer the way that I live now. It's more peaceful. I get to do things like this right now. I'd be super freaking concerned about the chart, waiting for the next move to happen. I'm talking to you guys, sitting here waiting for the next trade, but I'm not. I'm here vibing, like talking about the next sacrifice, where we're going to put our money next, when we're going to take it out, where we're going to go, where we're going to spend, how much we're going to spend on the private jet, how much champagne we're going to drink, all the bottles we're going to buy. You feel me? Like that's what we're talking about.
Productive.
Exactly.
For sure, man. That's my strategy too, bro. Like it's just holding and just making that 5-year plan,
Yeah.
Making a 5-year plan is the move.
Yes, sir. We got here Crypto Freedom. What do you think if sacrifice for liquid loans? What do I think if you sacrifice? I think that you are a person who's expressing their freedom. So, bro, if sacrifice all the way, bro. Do what you got to do. Go out there and invest your money, man. Do what you got to do. If you feel like that's where you got to put your bread. David said, you may be right. There are still macro higher highs and higher lows, though. You never know, and you're 100% right, man. There are higher highs and higher lows. But I'm going to continue to follow this 4-year cycle, because it has been working, and I think it's going to continue to work. And so that's really what I've been following. So I'm really looking forward to kind of like, seeing Bitcoin kind of do that and really guide the rest of the market, because a lot of the liquidity is tied to other things.
Definitely.
What else do you want to look at, man? Anybody in the chart want to look at something? Anybody in the chat, if you guys want to check something out, maybe see how I write something technically. Yeah, we can take a look at Hex. I mean, I guess I can find a new chart though. Let me find a new Hex chart, because I don't want to Hex USDT. I mean, it's like the second closest. Oh, hell no. Nah. Okay, I have this here. I got you. Hex USD. Okay, we can leave. All right, I'm gonna give y'all a nugget. Okay, for those of you who don't know, this is a website that you guys can go on. It's charts.cointraderpro. And this is a free nugget. This is for my paid students, but not many people know about this website. It's called charts.cointrader.pro. Whoa. Charts.cointrader.pro. And bro, this place, you can literally find any and every single chart you need. Like if you want to look for like any pair, bro, I mean, I don't know, like what can we look like for, like Doge ETH, right? like Doge ETH. Look right here, Dogecoin Ethereum on crypto, on Coin Market Cap, Coin Paprika, and you have all the different exchanges that you can kind of pick the chart from. But you have all the different charts here, and then you just open it, boop, and it shows up, and it shows with all the data from day one.
Well, that's awesome.
Right? So
that is a nugget.
You guys, you're welcome, ladies and gentlemen. All right, but let's get back to what we were talking about. Anyways, okay. So this is Hex. We'll go to the weekly chart, and let's just go ahead and break this down. Like if I were to, do like a brand new technical analysis on it myself, right?
Yes, please.
So first, I'd like to start off with the tops because I like to ideally look at where the market has gone to and where it can go back to. So usually I just like to start off with the tops. Make sure you make those lines a little thicker so you can see them. And then once I go from the highest tops, right? And usually what I do is I go for the closures, and the closures are very important because I feel like the closures are places where you tend to see the price be respected a lot more. Like if, for example, if you look at this closure right here, right? When we came back to this level, we saw this doji candle close above this weekly closure. So that's why we probably saw some type of significant impulse towards the upside. It's levels like this that really help you get a better picture, and they help you, see the thing of like the chart objectively. So like there I would set up, one of my levels. Once I have a top and a bottom, and I want to maybe see a little bit more detail because I don't really know what's going on. Like, I guess you guys think what I'm thinking. Like, okay, I mean, there's data there, but there's not really much more you can do. I go to the 3-day. And then here I start to be able to kind of get a bigger picture. But now what happens is I'm on the 3-day and I have some weekly lines there. So what I like to do is I like to write 1W, right? And like that, you guys can be able to remember what line that is and where you put that line was. So 1W. And that should help you guys out. Let me see. And then so from there you start to put your 3-day lines, right? And then you can look for example these levels down here, or like for example maybe we can start off with these levels over here, right? This level, we have this level over here at around 9 cents. We have, and you want to look for places where market price breaks out from, right? Like over here, we had a place where the market broke out from over here. So we have all these levels down here that might be hit. And of course, we start with support because now we see that the price is falling, right? But if the price were to be going up, we would be focusing more on resistances. And of course, you would be noticing the support levels that you have. So now we've already created those levels. And what we want to do now is, let's say, for example, we go to like a daily time frame. Now we're seeing a little bit more of a bigger picture, and we have all these different levels that we can possibly see hit. And all you need to know is that by creating these levels is you're just creating zones where the market may be attracted to. And let's be real, like we can easily see price fall as low as 7 cents here with Hex. It's realistic, and just because the market price fell today 17%, something like that, doesn't mean it can't keep falling over the next couple of weeks. Anybody that is smart enough to look at the weekly chart and look at the way that this is invalidating this weekly support level can tell you that this shit looks like it's going to go down. But you see, what a lot of people tend to do right now is they start to sell, or they maybe start to buy, which would be, in some cases smart, right? If the market price were to close above this weekly level, but they start to take action before the weekly chart closes or the weekly candle closes. So what I like to do is I don't like to do anything until that weekly candle closes, because ultimately when this candle closes, the new weekly candle is going to want to participate and almost like attract itself to one of those supports or resistances, right? Like whenever something closes, usually there's a retest. Like whenever you see a break, there's usually a retest after. So if this weekly candle closes, we're probably going to see the market price come back and retest 15 cents or come in retest 12 cents again, or retest 9 cents, like whatever it decides to do. But something's going to probably happen when you see a break like that on the weekly level. So once you get really good at it, you can start to kind of like get closer and closer and closer to the time frames, and I mean, bro, everything else just kind of starts to happen from there. You can almost like predict better entries. You know when the right accumulation areas are. Everything becomes a lot easier. And so,
Yeah, I like that strategy.
yeah, and if you start off with like the chart like how I have it, right? Like right now, I was thinking to myself, okay, like my next accumulation zone was 15 cents, okay? So I bought at 15 cents. But now the next accumulation area was 12 cents, and I said, all right, if price gets to 12 cents, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to buy some there. And then I said if price gets to 7 cents, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I buy some there, right? Price got to 12 cents, but because I haven't seen the weekly candle close just yet, I don't want to buy any, right? I could have bought some at 12, but what if price falls to 7? I could have saved that money. So instead, I'm going to wait for that weekly closure, see what data tells me if we close below this weekly this weekly broken support level that we see here. And if we can continue to trade below that level, then I'll probably save that money and decide to dollar cost average a little bit lower over here. I'm not really scared of price falling. I just want price to fall as low as I need it to fall to get the best price. That's really what I'm looking for.
Right. And do you think that with all these extra sacrifice phases like liquid loans, Mintra, do you think that that has anything to do with price falling further, or do you think that it's over? Like,
I mean, I'm gonna be real, dude. I'm gonna like this has more to do with like the uncertainty of what's happening around the world. Like the problem here is you also got to consider how many European people hold hex, right? And as much as we would like to say like a whale is selling, like at this point it can be people who are just scared who maybe are invested and are looking to maybe have some cash on hand for whatever they need. Like you got to think about it from that perspective too. Like this could really be anything, and usually FUD is what causes people to take that out. But that's what it is. It's FUD. People are fearful, they're uncertain, and they're doubtful of the future in maybe their future, maybe not of hex, but they're doing it for some type of reason. And so we're seeing this price impact. But all we can do is respond to it, right? Like if I know that I have a cheaper hex price, what am I going to do? I'm a dollar cost average in, right? If the dip is going to go be bigger than this, then might as well just keep waiting until it finds that proper floor and accumulate at those levels. Let me go ahead and read this question real quick. I'm sorry, bro. It says, hey fellas, just a question with PulseX. I sacrificed earlier in January at like $1.70 rate, only a couple hundred. Excuse me. Do you think sacrificing more within the last few hours would be also good? Cheers. What's going on, man? Shout out to you, bro, for sacrificing for PulseX, bro. That was awesome. And dude, what I would say is you got to be very wary, because now that it's almost 10 times as, or for you, it's almost as 5 times as more expensive from when you first actually purchased them. So when you actually first sacrificed, excuse me. And right now you're getting at almost like 10 times from the dollar rate that it started at. So it's not that you're not going to get it at a good price, but you're not going to probably get the best rate you could have gotten. And so I would probably I would just consider the fact that it is a little later, and if you do want to be invested, you're not getting the best rate. And I will let you build an opinion on my opinion. That's just what I'll say. You're just not getting the best rate,
Yeah. I have no comment on that one, to be honest. Just because, like
it's very tough to say, man. Like it's really, really tough to say. Like if you got in not super late, but you got in. You feel me? At least you're in, which is super important. Those couple hundred, I mean, have no expectation of them, man, but they can make you happy. A couple $100 made me super happy in Hex and like other projects. So
yeah. It also depends, I think, how much they're thinking of putting in, right? Like
that's
if
true.
It's gonna be more than what you sacrificed in the beginning. You're kind of
that's very true.
And also your strategy, like when do you plan on touching any of it? Are you going to stake it? Are you thinking of sacrificing for other things? Are you like thinking of getting into Hex? Because there's just a lot. It's kind of hard to give like really a straight answer to that one. I would personally I can tell you what I did when Pulse Chain was out is I sacrificed on the first days, and then as it started increasing, I only sacrificed a little bit more. And then after that, I just stopped, but some people just kept sacrificing for Pulse Chain. So it's kind of like,
some people did. I sacrificed day 1. I think it was like within the first 5 days. I liked how short Pulse Chain sacrifice was, to be honest. But for the PulseX, I sacrificed. I mean, honestly, bro, I did it right, bro. I did it right the first time for both. I mean, I wanted to participate, so I did. But it's true what King Hex is saying. It's that most people are selling it to buy Pulse, and I think that strategy. I mean, I don't know how it's gonna play out for a lot of people. I'm sure people are aware. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are, and a lot who are not aware of the impermanent loss possibilities that could happen when like you're gonna be selling it or trying to get that good price at those initial exchange rates. Because I mean, bro, who knows? It can get really, really crazy. And so for me, I'm not touching anything. Like I don't even want to. I probably won't even be staking for like the first week. I'm probably just gonna, or maybe I will. I don't know. I'll see. I'm pretty sure the staking is gonna work because it has to have been tested. But like as far as like swapping, I probably won't be swapping for a minute. I'm gonna wait until those liquidity pools get full, and we see those rates settle down a little bit, because who knows what happens when that automated market maker puts all that liquidity in those pools and everybody starts trading and all this stuff starts to happen at once. Oh man, I can imagine. That's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be absolutely wild. It's gonna be like, bro, like the first day of the Nasdaq. You know what I mean? That's like a quick comparison, for real.
Yeah,
Dude,
I
think you guys are right.
Fun. I can't wait. Like, so excited.
Yeah, I think you guys are right. Waiting the ratio right now is not that good. Yeah, man. I mean, like I said, you are getting that 1 point. See, the thing is, you're getting that 1.75x. You're getting that 1.75x rate or multiplier, but you're not getting the best rate for it, right? And the thing with Pulse Chain, when that happened with Pulse Chain, is there was only 19 days that had passed. Right now, bro, we passed like almost 40 something days, like 50 something days, and we're approaching the last day, like at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So we're pretty close to this thing ending very soon. So yeah.
And that's why I was asking what you thought was gonna happen. Like if you think we're gonna go any lower, any higher on Hex, just because of obviously the previous sacrifice phase with Pulse Chain.
I said last stream that Hex is probably gonna go lower. But I mean, and we can take a look at it here. Like you see how this is bouncing right here from this 12-cent area. We actually closed higher than where we closed prior to where we were here. So this is pretty good. It's a good sign. But we want to see bullish pressure. We want to see a retest of this level again, right? Not just one hit, but twice, like how we saw it here. You see how one hit, two hit, and then we had an engulfing candle. Ideally, we want to see something like that, something that can push us deeper into this demand zone. Because the thing is, I still believe this is a demand level, because we haven't come back and rejected this price. Remember how we came over here and we pushed through it? Here, right, we didn't bounce. We came back into it and we just sold through it. And so if we come back, can we continue to buy through these levels, or will we sell at these levels, right? Will this become our new supply zone, right? Because you see, I'm setting these levels up from a weekly time frame where, we've had some liquidity there before. And so these levels come with a purpose, like they're just not lines, but they're there for a reason. So, yeah, like that's a really important area for me right there, right here in between this area, to see what's going to happen. I mean, I got to take this off because, but yeah, we also were looking for what could have been a possible inverted head and shoulders here, but we broke that. We invalidated that shoulder, and now what we have is kind of like a W formation, but I mean, it's not really looking promising. Oh, I mean, and let me see if I can actually, there we go. That's better. So that people can see the stream. People on the stream can see it. But yeah, we have like a W formation kind of going on. And so, and I'm just extremely, like, bro, Luna, look at this. Like, I'm here thinking this pullback isn't going to be that deep. And this shit has retraced to 78.6%. Absolutely insane.
I actually don't know anything about Luna, man.
Well, this is Anchor, and Luna's interesting. Luna's actually very interesting, and so I don't know if some of you guys are familiar with what Terra Luna is, but it's all right. So let me go ahead and just look up the website so you guys can kind of take a look at it. So Terra is what a lot of well, actually, no, you know what? There we go. Perfect. So yeah, Terra is what a lot of people wanted to see from Bitcoin, right? Like the whole programmable money thing. And what I think I really like about Luna is the fact that their ecosystem is built to be an actual peer-to-peer currency that's fully decentralized, right? They got decentralized stablecoins, right? They got the merchant processing, right, which is currently active in South Korea. It's one of their like biggest like successes as a company. And then you also have their network of Luna, like their network of stable coins. I'm sorry, right? That actually allow for them to be collateralized or utilized for different projects. Like when you kind of get deeper into the ANC project, which is also a part of the ecosystem, it plays a different role. And first, I want to explain Luna before I explain that ANC portion of it. But the Luna ecosystem itself, right? Like the Terra ecosystem. Terra is more of the. All right. So how can I explain it? So the Luna is the Luna coin, right? And then you have your stable coins, which are your Korean won coin, stable coin. You have your UST, you have your CAD T, you have a Euro T. You have all these basic stable coins, but you have them for every country. And what happens is it's almost like how liquid loans work, right? Where you can't mint a stable coin unless you burn a Luna. So it's collateralized against Luna. That's what the stable coins are collateralized against. And so almost like how the Earth needs the moon to actually, coexist, you would need Luna, right? The Luna token for the actual stable coin to coexist. And so what happens is when you want to mint a stable coin, you burn a Luna, right? And when you want to burn a Luna, or when you want to transact back to Luna, you actually end up burning a stable coin, right? And so you're removing from the pool. And so it creates this like coexistence between each other where it's fully decentralized and it's backed by each other. And it's very interesting, and it's worked, and it's programmable. They've created right through the actual ecosystem a way for you to interact with smart contracts. So that's where you bring in ANC and another project that I'm going to mention later. But ANC is more of a borrowing protocol, a lending protocol. And I can actually show you guys here what it looks like. It's called Anchor Protocol. So if you go to anchorprotocol.com and you click on web app, there's different sections to it, but you have up here, right, the dashboard. So here, this is a total value locked, which is fallacious because, all right, well, I'll just leave that there. Give me a second. Let me just disconnect it just in case. All right, so real quick, right? The dashboard, it's going to show you your total value lock. So this is how much money is deposited, okay, into the protocol, and then this is how much is in collateral, okay. So this is collateralized. That's taken a loan against $4 billion, and total is $11 billion, right? In what's held in the actual coin itself. But now this isn't really value locked because this isn't locked like how it's locked in Hex. Anybody can take this money out at any point. But now ANC does have a reserve because there's something very special about the ANC product, which is the fact that through its earning capabilities, right? So like for example, for you to earn, you can deposit UST and earn 20% APY on your UST. So you're pretty much yielding 20% APY holding stablecoin. Pretty sick, right? As far as borrowing, you can borrow against your coin. So you can do bonded ETH. So you can swap for a bonded version of Ethereum and then loan against your Ethereum, or swap for a bonded version of Luna, and then you can pretty much collateralize against that. And then the net APR is actually a positive APR. And when the APR is positive, it actually means that the protocol itself, based on the distribution APR that's produced by the protocol, is paying back your borrow APR. So it's paying back your loan. So it's actually a self-paying loan system created, like built into the entire network. And then you have your B assets. This is where you can claim rewards for holding bonded Luna and bonded ETH liquidity pools. And then you have, of course, the governing, where you can, stake your anchor for 13% APY. Or you can provide liquidity for Anchor UST liquidity pool and get a 73.46% APY. So the protocol is fucking insane, bro. It's OP. It's insane how much technology is really integrated into it. But all of this, and on top of that, right, Terra has a working bridge system, which is perfectly running with Ethereum. They're a stable coin. They're the only decentralized stable coin that's running on a stable coin, not backed by a one-to-one centralized system like how USDC is or USDT is. They're doing it by backing it through their own coin called Luna, right? And so people are free to invest in that, and then of course get access to UST by swapping Luna and whatnot through that process. But the ecosystem is really, really cool. So you have Anchor, and then you have something called Mirror Protocol, which is like a synthetic asset protocol, and then you have Pylon, which is principal protected investments and payments. That's something else, but I mean that's just what they're adding on top of what already exists between Anchor and then of course Mirror, which I haven't explained yet. They did get into some trouble with Mirror, but it's a lot, bro. And it's a lot, but it's not even a lot. But the thing is that there's so much money in it, and that's what's important, right? That there's a lot of money in those stable coins. And if you look at UST right now, it's ranking up there with a lot of the other stable coins that exist. Look at Terra. It's at Luna's at number 9, but UST is it's not far down. Let me see, where is it? I might have missed it.
Yeah, I saw this little pump right here, man. That's pretty.
Yeah, Terra
It
USD.
went up a lot.
It's 12 billion in market cap, and so so the more market cap UST has, I believe the more Luna could be worth, because what happens is the more UST that exists, the more Luna that has to be burned, and so the supply of Luna decreases, increasing the demand of Luna, which pushes Luna price up. Does that make sense? So the more people that use UST or the Korean T or whatever stablecoin T that exists, which is a bunch of them, they have almost one for every single country, right? The more rare that Luna becomes, and the more higher in price Luna is. So it's a very, very interesting system, and I personally, I would invest into it once we get to see those price dips where I would like to have them. But I mean, right now price isn't even getting to those levels. Like, we're literally following this bullhorn pattern. We've respected this bottom right here. We've bounced twice, and then for ANC, I mean, ANC hit $1.29, and honestly, I was gonna buy it beneath the dollar. We didn't even get to see that, and recently with what's been happening internationally, we've just been getting a lot of love from ANC here, which has highs of around $8.50 or $8.30. So I mean, who knows what can happen, bro? But right now, whoever invested in the past couple of weeks, I mean, they're up, because, or really in the past week and a half, they're up 150% on their ANC, bro. So 172%, excuse me, which is a fucking sick return in 7 days.
Yeah, that wouldn't hurt right now
At all.
Yeah, man.
It's really, really good stuff.
Hey, man, I'm actually gonna have to wrap it up in a bit.
That's perfect, bro. No
Baby's
worries.
crying over
Let's
here.
go ahead and take the last question here from King Hex. He says, King Hex, I haven't watched Richard's videos lately. Actually from David. This is from David. So he said, King Hex, I haven't watched Richard's videos lately. When is Pulse available to buy, and why do people sell now to buy Pulse later? Will there not be a Pulse Hex pair? So the first question is, when is Pulse available to buy, and why do people sell now to buy Pulse later? So you want to take that question, bro?
I think he's referring to selling PulseX to buy.
Yeah,
Pulse
I
chain,
think
right?
that's
Like
what he's
swap it
referring
out?
to as well.
I think at least from what I've heard in my community is that a lot of the people that sacrificed for PulseX weren't able to sacrifice for Pulse Chain, so they're trying to kind of even out their bags because they don't know which one's gonna do better. But a lot of people are missing this free Pulse, man. Free Pulse faucet that's gonna be live, hopefully. So I mean, I wouldn't swap out anything, like, personally, but at the same time, I got to sacrifice for both of them, so it's kind of like, I don't know. And then what was the other question? When is Pulse available to buy? Man, dude.
Yeah, the Pulse is gonna be available when it comes out. And unfortunately,
pretty
that's
much,
the answer.
bro.
And then will there not be
Yeah,
a
that's
Pulse
the
Hex pair?
answer.
And yeah, there will be a Pulse Hex pair. That's gonna exist for sure. But I mean, David, I know you were asking King Hex, but we answered that for you, bro. But with that being said, man, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And we will see you guys on the next one. Take care, y'all.
Definitely. Thank you, bro. Appreciate
Be easy,
your
man.
time.
Have a good one.
Alrighty, man. You too.
Take care, chat. Have a good one.
Hey man, yeah, the baby